What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm back to talk to you guys about Warhammer 40K. Of course, we do our Q&As every week, about 3 times a week, entitled For the Greater Whoa! And in those, I've been noticing that pretty much every time we do one, there's always somebody asking, how should they get into the tabletop? What's the best army to start with, and how do they actually play the game? So, that can take multiple videos and it could be answered in many ways, but I'm just going to give you a very simplistic answer and just kind of guide you through Warhammer 40K. So the first thing is, when you're starting 40K, it's going to be intimidating. Like, there is a lot to learn, and it's going to be a process that takes time. Don't expect to jump into the hobby and start playing a game that same day. For one, do your research, whether that's going into an actual Warhammer 40K store and learning the game, which actually isn't even a thing nowadays. With COVID, at least for our 40K store, there's 2 squares you can only go inside the building and stand in. You can't look at the boxes, you can't walk around. You literally walk in, stand at a square, and say, yo, I need this box set. They'll ring you out, and that's it. No perusing, no window shopping, that's pretty much it. So, with that not being an option anymore, it's pretty much going to be a lot of online research. So for one, I'd say start off with finding out the factions, the lore behind the armies. There is a ton of armies to choose from, a ton of play styles. The edition that you're actually in will play a part as to which army is best. But in my opinion, don't pick an army that's currently good. Don't pick an army that's in the meta, that's winning a bunch of tournaments, because who knows, by the time you're actually done with an army and ready to play on a tabletop, the meta might have shifted. And if you're just playing to win, you're not going to have a good time. So if you are wanting to play an army that's pretty much really well overall, Space Marines are going to be your best friends. Space Marines are usually the more popular army. Because of that, GW tends to give them a lot of buffs, a lot of releases, and overall just a lot of love. So you're going to be seeing a bunch of new models, codices are going to come your way, FAQs, and you're going to have probably the most options out of any army. So if you want to play a shooting army, an army at range, or an army that has a lot of tanks, maybe they're good in close combat, Space Marines really gives you all that and more. The cool thing about playing Space Marines is that you're not stuck with just a single faction. Space Marines have a lot to them. There's different chapters, you have the Primaris Marines. Let's say you want a speedy army, you've got the White Scars. You want an army that's tough and has really strong resilient tactics, Iron Hands. Maybe you're really interested in the lore and you like how the salamanders are pretty much the hope of humanity. They treat humans with respect, and they're really tough, and they have to deal with, dragons and fire. So maybe you like that aesthetic, you like painting green and fire on your armies, then go ahead and go with the salamanders. Again, focus on an army that you like. Focus on an army that you're not going to be bored of within the next month or so. Start an army and make it your own. Convert. Create a custom chapter if you're going with the Space Marines. If you like the weeaboo-ness of the Tau, go ahead and make your custom sept. Sculpt it to your liking. If you want to play a bunch of weeaboo Gundam battlesuits, go ahead and play the Farside Enclaves. If you like thick Tau Earthcast women, there's no models for them, but hopefully you're a good artist so you can make all that awesome NSFW art. But yeah, so focus heavily on an army that you love the lore, because if you love the lore, it's going to be fun making narratives with your playgroup, your friends, and it'll really blossom into a game that's way more than just rolling dice and making the dice gods be in your favor. Now, there's tons of places you can find lore to figure out what army you like, not just the look of. Because when I first started playing 40k, I liked the look of the Nordic Space Marines. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm going to go with the Space Wolves. And then the more we started playing, I didn't really enjoy like the whole Canis Helix aspect to them and like the Wolfen. I wanted something a little bit more sleeker, and that's when I found the Tau. So even though Space Marines and Space Wolves were the first one that jumped out to me, the Tau was actually the first army I started collecting once I actually started reading the books. And speaking of books, codices are going to be something that you really want to get. Probably the first purchase you make is a codex. The codex will give you a bunch of lore. It'll give you stats to figure out what models are good, how they synergize with one another, and every single codex comes with a timeline. So you'll learn the history and the current events that's happening with your army to see if you enjoy kind of like the evolution and the future of what's to come for your army. So with the Tau, it was the Ethereals who took control of them and led them to become this technological upstart faction that is really taking control of the galaxy. And we saw that progress and include more Xeno factions to their side, and that's how the greater good became such a power. Yes, they're young, and they're still trying to figure out warp travel, but that's another avenue that now you're exploring with the Tau. The Startide Nexus, that's a pretty cool aspect to kind of bring in like warp and unknown to the Tau, so that leads to a whole bunch of narrative aspects. Have your own custom sept, make a jump through the warp using the Startide Nexus, and you could have a whole campaign focusing about that. Crusade is going to be amazing to create these narratives to shape your army, because there's a lot of things going really well for the Crusade system. Say you have a Tau commander who was piloting an Iridium armor battlesuit. Unfortunately, you haven't been doing really good in your games, and he's taking battlefield scars. Maybe that's the end of your commander, and now another upstart Tau has now taken the mantle, maybe even the same name, to keep the legacy going, and that in and of itself is slowly building your army. Yes, you're not 100% shaping it, but the battles, the fun times you have with your friends, that's what creates the narrative for your army. And in my opinion, that's way more fun than just trying to min-max and just be a try-hard and just beat everybody. So you gotta take 40k with the losses as well as the victories. And if you're playing an army you love, every game will be a victory in your heart. Yes, it's hella cheesy, I know, but seeing the evolution of Warhammer 40k, I've learned to not focus so much on winning, because I've lost pretty much all the games I've played. 90% of the games I play, I lose. Chalk it up to luck, bad rolls, synergy, maybe I'm not playing the army to its strengths, or maybe it's just bad matchups. But yeah, most of the games I play, I lose. But hey, it's the fun, you know. You're sitting, or you're in a room with your buddies, you know, having a good time, cracking jokes, and watching each other bathe in the blood of the enemy. Maybe even making a skull throne for Khorne. And that's what it's all about. 40k is about camaraderie and building a badass faction / army. And it's fun. Like, when I watch battle reports, I'm gonna watch them 80% to see the awesome painted armies. Not so much to see if, oh, they got this rule wrong, or oh, what are the tactics that they're implementing. No, I watch it to see the army lists, to see the synergy between the army. If they have named characters, are they playing named characters from the book, or maybe it's somebody's own personal named character. And sometimes they have a little bit lore to them, or they're playing a narrative battle, and that's a little bit more entertaining. But those are the kinds of battles or bat reps that I enjoy. What is it? Play on Tabletop, the guys that do 40K in 40 minutes, they do a tremendous job at keeping you gripped during the entirety of their videos. Because oftentimes, we all know, when you play a game of 40K, it can go on for hours. And if you're sitting, staring at the computer screen for 3 hours, you're going to get bored, you're going to start going on your phone, and you're not really going to pay attention to the video. Chances are you're not even going to see the whole thing. But these guys make it tight, concise, fun, and I love it. Tabletop Tactics is another one. Their production is just off the charts. Really great painted armies. The banter is pretty funny. And speaking of banter, you can't forget the OGs, Mini War Gaming. Those are probably the most notable and probably the first channel that actually, when you look up Warhammer 40K, that popped up. At least back in the day it was. And now we have a bunch of other creators on YouTube, putting on bat reps and other 40K content. And I think that's another avenue to explore. Check out everybody's channel, see what you like, and that kind of helps you, find a community to create and enjoy playing with others. I mean, it sucks that the whole COVID situation is kind of restricting on people, going to the store and playing against strangers, and, having a good time, and building relationships and whatnot. But it is what it is, and you got to make the best of it. So during this time, I think it's the perfect time to focus on crafting your army. Make it something that you love, that you enjoy. And if it's finding an army on eBay that's painted, based, and ready on the tabletop, that's okay too, because if you can get an army tangible and play it, set it up on the battlefield, that's going to be way better than just having boxes and boxes of armies that are still on the sprue, because that you're going to get intimidated, overwhelmed, and it's just going to sit there collecting dust. So hopefully this kind of helped you push yourself in a direction that eventually helps you get your army ready and finished. But yeah, my advice as always, play an army that you enjoy based on the lore, the looks, and don't worry so much on winning. There's also more videos out there if you want to learn the tactics, if you want to learn what's the meta. There's plenty of other channels out there. If you want to learn how to create your own chapter, your own homebrew Space Marines, Gershwin did a phenomenal job with this video, kind of outlining the steps of how to do that. And I'm going to put that at the end of this video so you guys can go ahead and check it out. Amazing. Like, I already have my own homebrew Space Marine chapter, and I still come back to it just because it's just an awesome video. Like, don't take my word for it. Check it out. And yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. Thanks for listening, and thanks for liking, subscribing, and commenting. Without you guys, I honestly don't know what I'd be doing. So thanks again for everything, and I can't wait to read your comments just to see how you guys started off with 40K. This has been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you guys in the next time. And as always, peace.